There's the sun and the moon when the skies looking blue. Light is catching your eye like it's meant to.
Hello, welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I am Ms. Day. So the very first thing I was thinking with this one was, there's your trouble. It's like some weird old Dixie Chick song. I don't remember a single thing other than that line. There's your trouble. And I feel like this is like coming from the guides where they're like, it's right there. That's it. So whoever you are, it's like you have cracked the code to your own self. It's like you've escaped some sort of past. Okay. Basically, way back, I feel like you had a view that was not exactly given to you in balance or necessarily in a way. I feel like you had some shame in a lot of the past relationships and connections you had. I don't know how that feels for who, but there's a bleed into this really open-minded, but also protective energy. And also, it's like you had a lot kind of hammered at you as far as what to believe in, but nobody really stood by those values in front of you and around you in your youth. And then it's almost like there was this mental prison that you experienced, and you had to just kind of fade all of that out just to kind of sail through. And when you came out of it, it feels like your values became like a home, like a cozy family type of feeling, whether that's literally with creating your own family or just like having things around you that feel like family, like animals, nature. There is a very innocent, childlike feeling. It's a protective adult, but it's like there's a childlike need, and that's almost like what makes you so excited. How interesting. It's like whoever you are, I just want to say like you cracked the code to your own inner workings. There feels like, I don't know why this is, but I keep feeling like I want to say the word institution with these readings. Like I keep wanting to say that someone had these narratives built in life, whether they were handed to you, placed upon you, or whether or not, or maybe you just kind of like, soaked them in along the way. But it was like formed ideals because of some sort of institutions. And you're a very free spirit. So I feel like you almost found your way in those because you have a very protective and understanding. You have an understanding of some sort of like belief systems. This also feels like you have some sort of it's almost like there's a pocket. It's like a secret. You know how people say what skeletons do you have in your closet? I literally feel like you have a lot of ideas like a lot of really, really big ideas that could become manifested into really big things. And I feel like you've gained a lot of knowledge from a lot of different belief systems. And there's a part of you that was always, it's like you developed into a very nurturing person by your own design. How neat is that? It's so mature feeling. It feels like I didn't do that. I didn't develop maturity on my own. I had to be like hit over the head by a lot of stuff to develop that. And I feel like whoever this is, it's like you were like always going to walk in dignity at some point, no matter what you had to go through. It's very beautiful. And the interesting thing is it feels very masculine, but very childlike and free. And it's like the free comes out in a healed way. It's like the feminine. Okay. So in this reading, there is a feminine part of someone in here that I think was kind of, it feels like it was brutally silenced. And that's not for everyone, but that word feels like it's coming out because someone was silenced in a very large, like a tidal wave of shh. And also, that was a disappointment. Yeah, it's like it put different parameters in your view that you weren't necessarily like aware of, but whatever it is in you, this like super nurturing, protective you that you developed into, it's like you worked that out along the way. Your own feminine almost has countered the feminine that I think you didn't receive, that you were in need of. This is crazy because right before this I had a thought and I was like, I couldn't remember what it was. So when I started the reading, I couldn't start with that because usually I would remember what I was just thinking about. And I didn't until now. It's like I felt like there were two different levels for whoever this reading is for, where there's a super strong adult, where there's a curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, like a seriousness behind it. Like, I need more information. That's my job. I must learn. That's what we're here to do. And then there's also this child. I was literally like visualizing two different people, but I think it's the same person because there was this other level in the same moment where it was like a child who was so open just as much as this adult who's like super open and like full of gained knowledge now. But there was this child who was so open because they were in need. I feel like you were in such need that actually there were certain things that kind of drew you in a negative way. And I think that might be tied into some belief systems. That might be where the word institution comes from. I don't know. Or maybe it's even like a materialism thing. I don't know. But it feels very much like that. There was such a soft, tender part of whoever this reading is for, and it was not. It's like you were so open always, but you had a really large need. And along the way, it doesn't even feel like you spent the time feeling like a victim that need wasn't filled. And that's crazy because earlier, like I feel like some other readings are kind of like, a lot of people are really proclaiming that they are not a victim lately. Like that's their stance, and I think that's really cool. But like this one is also that, where it's like that's part of your nature is, well, I carry my own. Don't we do that? And it's like, I think that you almost have a pressure on yourself to gain more knowledge because that's the one thing you're sure you can do. And there's this huge spiritual part of you. And I don't know who this is, but I feel like there's a large feminine that maybe you don't. This feels so much like you've had feminine even though it wasn't necessarily given to you. Interesting. I think that whoever this reading is for, it's almost like there's this feeling of you have a need. I think that you take responsibility and almost have like a sense of duty about what life you're living, like what mark you're going to make. That's like been your driving force. It's such a supportive type of feeling from your guides. I feel like this is such a, it's like they are looking at you. And I feel like you have been almost like just on your path so much. This is so weird. The movie Queen of the Damned, this has been a really long time. What a weird movie to come into my head. So there was this part where the woman, like the Egyptian, the queen that came back, the mother of the vampires, she was here, and there was like this vampire Lestat, I think, that she was like getting with, and she said to him, like, you thought it was you all along, the ego of a king as well. And that's what I just thought of. This is so weird. And I'm not saying you have like an ego. I just think that whoever you are, it's like you have this really strong will that I think would make, this is like, I don't mean this in a negative way, because I've loved a lot of kids this. I like a lot of them, including my own, but like I feel like the strong-willed child is very challenging, and it's also really funny. Like I feel like a strong will is your driving force, whoever this reading is for. And what a beautiful blend too, because I feel like having an open mind and a free spirit is a very strong mark. And whoever you are, you feel like strongly about the mark you leave. So I feel like what they're telling you also is that you're not alone. But it's not just in a comforting way. It's more like, yeah, we're here to help you. Like I feel like this makes me think of music again too. And this might be like certain ways. I think songs have been getting your attention lately. Whoever this reading is for, some of you make music, and I think that you're starting to really feel like you're getting help in there. That's special. But also I feel like some of you are getting songs in weird moments, even if it's like a brief moment that you're grabbing a coffee in a coffee place and you hear a song and you're like, why is that song on right now in this place? I think that you're starting to get different messages, and it's a positive thing. But that scene that I thought of, I feel like they think it's cute. That's what it feels like. I feel like they think it's cute in the way that you're like so strong-willed. I think that's neat. Okay. So, and also the reason it's so important to know that that's a positive part of you is that you have allowed the nurturing to heal you along the way. That's wild. And I feel like the fact that you didn't get it given to you, but you somehow still have let them walk with you. Like that's really beautiful. And I just think hard. Like I think that you've done a lot of stuff that was hard, and I just don't think you ever spent the time to be like, yeah, I really went through I really had a hard hand dealt, you know? Wow. So I feel like your creative self almost needs to feel more free, because that's what going forward, the message feels like these signs are coming at you because there's an interesting moment. And I feel like instead of just relying on yourself now, it almost feels like this new thing where you can interact with your guides in a creative way. Like, I feel like you've done a lot of clearing and a lot of learning, and it feels like your next step is a very excited one. What a neat ending of like a sentence. Like if this were a sentence, like a timeline, I mean. Like, what a neat ending to that sentence where you get to have excitement and fun again. Because I almost feel like little bits like that, where the little random songs and random things are making you think, is that for me? It is. Like, that's so beautiful. And I feel like some of you are even learning and getting things in your feed right now that's like not necessarily what you would see or search for, but it's stuff that you think is interesting. So like, I think that, I don't care how crazy that is, I feel like we definitely, we obviously can interact with our own devices. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this is helpful, because these are going kind of fast today, which is fun. Because I do feel like that's what this energy feels like too. It's like there's a child underneath all of the stuff that you've walked through, and somehow you've kept that child alive, and it's developed into someone who's like, yeah, I can do this, And I feel like the mark that you make, the feeling that that came forward, it's like a free but protective and the right type of values. Like, I feel like natural, I don't know, it's really weird. It feels like values that somehow it feels like you saw what was right, even though I think you saw a lot of things that were not. Somehow you saw the right path. That's where I feel like it's crazy that I got this feeling of like you going through all of these different belief systems. Like, whoever you are, I think you just value knowledge and information. I think you don't care how off the wall it is if it adds up. Interesting. So another part of this that I feel like I need to say is that whoever you are, if you are getting these things, you don't have to just sit and see what's next now. I feel like some people are really in a waiting moment. I feel like the message is like, you don't have to sit and wait. So, anyway. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this is helpful for someone, and if you feel like the readings resonate, definitely subscribe to my channel, and I appreciate it when you share the videos and when you like and comment. Allow for notifications so that you know when I upload future videos, and I will see you in the next reading.